we're in a crazy market. Like, there's so much demand in Austin. And at the end of the day, it's a small market. It's really a small market. And so it's just made things really competitive and challenging. And it's owning real estate in Austin is a lot different than owning real estate in San Antonio or Killeen or Temple or Nashville or Virginia. And those have positives and negatives as well. But we're just straight up not really in a cash flow market. Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Podcast. This is Matt Teifke and my partner, Alex Kaufman. We're excited to be here and just wanted to jump in. Last time we talked about a deal that we thought would be exciting to talk about, and it's our mobile home park in South Austin. So kind of want to give you guys some insight on what we're doing and what our goals are with this property and see if we can provide some value. One thing I wanted to point out, I was thinking about this yesterday, is that everything that we're doing is a goal to take you guys along our journey with us and show you what we're learning along the way and add as much value as we can. We definitely don't want to be the guys that are sitting up here saying, this is the only thing to do. This is follow everything exactly what we say. But we are trying to give back because we know what we're doing works and we've seen it work. We've seen the results. So we want to give that value to you guys and just take you on our journey. So the more people that come around and share their ideas and plug in, the better for all of us. And we're always looking for new people. So I just wanted to point that out. You got any thoughts on that in general?
No, just like you said, our whole goal really is just to provide value and try and help out wherever we can and point out what's worked for us and point out what hasn't worked for us to try and help others avoid mistakes and do the right things that we've done right. Yeah,
and you can see how it can come across like we're just trying to be on a soapbox and tell people stuff. So I just wanted to point that out because that's not the goal. Like we're not sitting here saying we are the multimillionaires and come follow everything that we do. It's just we're on our own journey and it's exciting in its own ways and we're constantly learning and just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean that's not it at all. If it wasn't for Teifke Real Estate, nobody would know what I'm doing except for you and people I do it with on a daily basis. It's weird being in front of the camera and being
It's fun though, right? It's fun to just get thoughts out there, and it does have a big impact on people, and we do the same, always trying to learn and get in front of people. So this is our way of branding, but also just giving as much value as we can, and just growing, just trying to get out there and grow. So let's talk about the mobile home park because, man, that's super exciting to me. You're the one who found it.
Yeah, do you want to walk through the whole thing?
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to, let's walk through how we found it and where we're at with the deal, along with like where your mind has shifted maybe along the way, because I think this is probably one of definitely for me, this is one of the more exciting, bigger type projects. And I know that like you were doing single family and then we quickly did multifamily, but was there like a big barrier in your mind or anything when you're like start talking about this and you're like thinking, I don't know what I'm doing, or this is a totally different level? Like what's your perception or a way that you've kind of been viewing this to start, and then let's just dive into how we found it and where we are with the deal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I'd say initially at the start of real estate investing, I wouldn't have thought that it would be as easy and possible to just go out and, buy $1 million properties. But as soon as I found out that, hey, it's just as easy as it is to buy a single family home, except it's going to cost a little bit more capital. But even if we don't have that capital, we can go out and partner with somebody, or we can go out and find that capital. Then I realized how easy it was to go out and take a deal down if it's the right deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. It's the same exact, basic process.
Interest rates, mortgages, down payments, rents. Yeah, I agree. And people build it up in their mind for whatever reason. And because I talk to a lot of people and they say, I don't want to do multifamily. I don't understand multifamily. And they've been in the real estate business for 7-10 years. And I try to tell them, you probably know a lot more than you give yourself credit for. Obviously, there's some differences, but it's a real estate business is pretty simple in a lot of ways. There's some intricacies, and there are things to learn and knowledge that can help you be a lot better. But like the basic concepts are pretty clear, all across the board.
Yeah, so it wasn't really a huge barrier. After we closed the 8-plex and then the triplex, in like 20 days, I said, well, let's just go get as many more as we can.
Yeah. So this was a guy that you cold called, right?
So you gave me a list, and yeah, I was cold calling. It's a multifamily list, so it was apartment owners, it was mobile home parks, RV parks, like 10 plus units. And so I just started calling the list and got a lot of no's, started feeling more comfortable with the list, just working through it. And then I called Jim, and I didn't know what it was. It just said like 11 unit. I didn't know. Maybe it did say like Jensen Mobile Home Park. But I called Jim. He answered. I said, hey, Jim, Alex Kaufman here calling about this address. And he said, I want $999,999. That was the first thing he said. Usually, the previous cold calls were, no, not interested, or, what are you willing to pay, or I won't accept anything less than a 5 cap, or da-da-da-da-da. And Jim just came, the first words out of his mouth were $999,999. And all I said was, okay, we may be able to do that. Can we come out and tour the property? And he said, go on out there, walk it, and give me a call afterwards. And then we had a few more, so that was on a Saturday. And then on Monday, you and I were viewing a few other apartment complexes, and we toured that one in the afternoon and went and saw it, and we thought that there was some value there, mm-hmm. and that even at his price that he wanted, we could probably make that work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, and I remember somewhere along the way you set up a meeting in person. I guess we toured it and we liked it, and we said let's go meet with him. And he's one of those, I think there's a category of people like this in real estate, just old school, and that's what he was. And we went and sat down and listened to him talk for, I don't know,
an hour
and a half.
We were late to another meeting.
Yeah, and he's talking about aliens and the Ark of the Covenant, and we're just like, all right, just keep going, man. We'll just listen. He's talking about working for LBJ, and, I think he was telling the truth on some of these things. Who knows? And it was just like letting this guy, get on his soapbox, I guess, and teach us. So we kind of went through that whole process. I've done that before with a few sellers, usually older gentlemen is what it usually comes down to in those situations. And then we just kept talking about it, and we analyzed it, and we were like, man.
What we did is so we went and viewed it, then we went to go meet him, and then after the long talks with Jim, we called Joseph, our banker, and we had him meet us at the property. And then we started to really kind of dive in. I went home and looked at it some more, and gave Jim a call the next day and asked him, hey, we're ready to get this deal done. And he said, well, come back on Wednesday with a contract. And he said he wanted, $2,500, and so he wanted $1 million. Actually, $999, not a penny more, not a penny less, is what he would say. And he wanted like $2,500 in earnest money. And so that was Monday. We went to see him. Tuesday, I talked to him again. And then I think we talked to Abe. So you want to talk about how you thought about Abe or brought him into this? And
yeah, sure. And one thing I want to point out is the guy, Jim, the owner, told us that he didn't care when it closed. So that was a big point for us to get the closing date, our closing date from when we signed it, over a year.
Yeah, but it didn't start that way. He didn't say that initially.
Okay. All right, well, we'll get into that. But, yeah, so, I'm a big believer in finding the right people, as some of you guys may know, and, all the people that are on our team and surrounding yourself with those right people. And I don't know, man, it'd be, maybe a side subject on this, finding the right people, but we were talking about Dave Portnoy, and I wonder how he built this business. And it would seem to me that he probably had a lot of good people around him this whole way, and that's what made these things successful. So to me, it's all about just finding the right people and having their resources come together and grow together. And
I think you'd like the story of Dave Portnoy.
I'm sure I would, yeah. But do you think he had like a lot of partners around him, or was it just him? Or
it seems as if it was always just him and his friends.
Yeah, his friends, right?
Even if they were an asset or not.
I got to get into this, but yeah, I mean, I just keep thinking about big businesses, and that's our goal, is to build a big business. And I don't know, about how most of these things started, but I would imagine they just got the right people and like set up win-wins. And so back to this deal, Abe is a guy that we both know that owns really unique and cool properties all around Austin, and he's done very well. He has like shared office spaces, commercial garages, all kinds of really funky, cool East Austin properties. And this is right in his wheelhouse. I've been talking to him for a while about doing something with him, and he has a really cool skill set and a different way of looking at things. So it's like, let's get Abe on board to analyze this with us and make sure that this is a deal that we all want to do together. So started bringing him into the conversations. He loved it, which was another validation for the deal. And, now the goal is for myself, Alex, and Abe to buy this property. And we'll get into the details of it. But at that point, Abe started coming to the meetings with Jim as well.
Yeah, so like I said, I think it was on like Tuesday. You introduced me to Abe, and we started looking at it together. And
wait, real quick, were you introduced to Abe before this? This is the first time? Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, so the first time we met was when we were presenting the contract. But you brought Abe in, and then we drafted up the contract for $999. Or actually, Abe made it for $1 million. I wanted him to do it for $999, just to give Jim exactly what he asked for.
Sure.
But so we drafted it up for $1 million. It was something like maybe 45-day feasibility. I think maybe 60-day close, and $2,500 earnest. It wasn't hard up front, and then one of the most important thing that Abe put in the contract, because we weren't sure on the size of the property, and Jim kept telling us that it was 3.5 acres, and the most important thing Abe put in the contract was that the purchase price was based on what the seller was telling us the acreage is. So, we're paying $1 million for 3.5 acres. If we get a survey and it comes back less, then the purchase price is adjusted on a price per acre basis. And so we had that in the contract. I met Abe at the property earlier before the meeting, went and walked it with him. Then we went to the meeting and presented the contract, and Jim had this whole other contract set up. It wasn't a commercial contract. It was Jim's contract, and he had a whole bunch of other stuff in it, and we had ours. And so we just sat down and said, look, let's use our contract. We can use this portion of your, because he was very adamant about the size of the property, and he had this all described out. And we said, look, we can use this as Exhibit A for the description of the land. And then Jim, I forgot how it happened, but we pushed out feasibility. We pushed out, at this point is when Jim said, I don't care when we close. We can close in 2021 if you want to. Mm-hmm. And so we extended feasibility. We extended close date, and then got it signed.
Yeah, and actually I wasn't there, but when I heard about it, my eyes lit up, and maybe y'all's lit up. And I don't know, I think, my first thought on this is like, anytime you can get a longer time frame on your contract, absolutely do it. I don't really see any negative to that. If you're going to get it under contract, it's your contract to lose, and you just have a longer time period, I can't see any negatives to that. Yeah, so that was like, okay, we can have until 2021 to close? Yes. We'll just, because you can always close on or before.
Well, and it didn't even start that way. So we didn't push it out to 2021. We pushed it out to, this was in February or March when we got it. And I think we pushed it out to like July or August. Mm-hmm. Maybe August. And so it wasn't even 2021 at this point. But yeah, I mean, it made us feel more comfortable to know that we had a lot of time to be able to analyze this and make sure we have everything in place.
Right. And so that's where we're at right now, is in the due diligence process. And like Alex said, we have it in the contract where we're buying this at a price per acre or price per square foot, and the property's actually a lot smaller than Jim originally said. So what's supposed to be 99999 is now supposed to be more like 700,000. And so this is going to be a really big learning experience for us, because per the contract, that's the price he's supposed to sell it to us for. And we have money and time, and we put that in the contract intentionally, all wrapped up into this deal, and that's the price that we want to get this property at. And so we're going to have something where we're going to learn a lot, but there is going to be a point of contention when it comes closing day, because that's the price that we're expecting to pay, which is what we agreed on, and we did that on purpose.
Well, and it's a unique situation. So we got the survey back, and it came back, instead of 3.5, it came back at like 2.45 acres. And on the property, we haven't really described it. There's one single family home. It's a 3-2 all the way in the back. There's like one little cottage that Jim says is a permanent structure. And then up front, there's commercial property, and it's a salon and like nail studio or something. Yeah. And then there are 11 mobile homes / RVs on the property.
Yeah, and I want to show you guys this. Hopefully you can see this, but this is typical of older sellers when they don't have a ton of financial information or details. This is literally what he gave us. So we got this. This is his rent roll. This is his survey. This is his T12. And he didn't have anything else he was going to give us. I mean, it's pretty fascinating. He literally just drew this out. And you can see here it's got all the rents for each of the units. It's got them all detailed out. He talks about what the taxes and the water utilities cost every month. And so even right here, we must net 99999, and we will not carry the note. So this is what Alex and I and Abe were operating off of. And I've gotten stuff like that before, and it's funny, man. I would just like to save that because a lot of people would get that and back out of the deal or just move on. And it's like, well, this is what we have to work with moving forward. And, yeah, it's pretty cool property. It's on Burleson Road. Right just north of 71, commercial property, probably 2 miles from downtown Austin.
Yeah, it's zoned MH1.
MH1, and which is very, very rare here in Austin. The rents are low from where we think we could be.
Let's talk about mobile home park demographics. So like as we started diving into after we had it under contract, started diving in more, I called every mobile home park I could find on Google and just acted like a tenant, like, hey, can I lease out a space? What are lot fees? What is it do you have mobile homes that I can rent out with the lot? What's included? Utilities, And what I learned was that there's 0% vacancy, and these tenants have been there for 15, 20 years, and most of them rent out just the lots only, and tenants pay all utilities. $600 a lot.
Yeah, so $600 a lot. On this, I think
he's
some
renting
of these
out
are paying for $450
for home and lot.
for the home and the lot. So we see significant upside in the rents with a long-term approach, and this could be one of our best deals. And it's a new venture into mobile home space. There's a commercial property on it, and like I said, it's a central Austin property essentially. So yeah, it was really cool because that was part of the due diligence that Alex did, was call on other parks, and you can really learn a lot, and you can learn about what you have under contract. And I think after you started calling those owners, you probably felt a lot better about what we had as well.
Yeah, I like the pro forma a lot.
Yeah. So this is going to be a big deal, and we want to continue to walk you guys through it as we grow, and we haven't closed on it yet, but that's absolutely the plan.
Halfway through our original feasibility and close date, just so they know, we had to, I forget what happened, but we talked to Jim again, and Jim didn't want to sell in 2020 due to taxes. Coronavirus hit. We called him back in like June. This is all before coronavirus. And then so we got feasibility period extended 9 months, and close date extended like 20 days after the feasibility ended.
Yeah, that's big, man. So I'm super pumped about this deal, and this is going to be a good one for us to continue to update you guys on. I'm sure we're going to make some really cool videos because it's just a cool property, and would love to answer any questions you guys have on this. We also are constantly talking to other people that have mobile home parks and getting their advice, and seeing if they want to sell, stuff like that. So who knows where this could lead? Maybe we start buying a bunch of these. They are obviously hard to find in Austin, so that's why we're so excited about this one. And it's going to be, we're probably going to put about 25% down payment, split between 3 people, and we think that right away we're going to walk into a decent amount of equity. We've already looked at wholesaling it, like we always talk about. We keep all of those options open, and we could wholesale it and make a decent amount of money, but we've decided that the long-term play is better on this one in particular than making that quick cash.
Yeah, well, there's not many properties you see like this come up.
Right. And so that's another thing is, for now, our goal is to rent it out, increase the rents, have a good stabilized cash flowing property. But in the long run, who knows? That's what's so cool about commercial. I know you get that is, we could maybe develop townhomes, or we could develop an apartment complex, or retail buildings, office building. You could do anything with this. The demand is absolutely there for what would work because it's so close to Austin. We'd have to get it rezoned, obviously, but I don't really think that's a problem, because at least the way I perceive it is people actually don't even want mobile home parks, right? They maybe feel like they're...
Well, the city wants them.
The city does want them?
Yeah.
But the people don't, right?
The people don't. There's been a ton of complaints about this one.
The city wants them because it's affordable?
Yeah.
So it gives people an affordable way to live in Austin, which is a huge problem that we have. But the neighborhoods and all the people around it would rather have nice properties. And the way I perceive it is, those are the people that are going to change the direction of the property. Like this, they're the ones that are going to go vote at the city, and if there's enough people that vote for it, which there probably would be, then they could just change that zoning.
Do you remember we had an engineer, I think, look at it, and the engineer sent us all of these emails from the residents by the mobile home park.
Yeah, wanting it.
Yeah, complaining about it.
Yeah, so, it's pretty interesting, man. This is definitely a unique deal and something that we're excited about, and who knows what's going to happen in the long run. But our strategy is just long-term hold and do the best thing we can with the property, based on what we know at the time, but always being super flexible. And, maybe we'll just do something totally different in 5 years with it, or maybe we'll just keep it like this, but we don't have one clear plan that we're like, this is exactly how this has to work, which is cool.
Well, yeah. Well, right now it's keeping it the way it is. I mean, it's actually pretty sweet, and improve it. So like, I think day one we're gonna try and go in and repave the road around there. Maybe do some landscaping, add a laundry room, get a little extra income from the laundry room.
Yeah, get a little coin. But I think right now it is just to play it out the way it is and just see how it goes. But you're right. I mean, like we were talking about last week, is who knows, maybe in 10 years we subdivide it and develop it. The options are, maybe there's food trailers out there. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's a cool spot.
And it's growing. That whole area is growing, and its houses are being remodeled and updated, and it's getting nicer and nicer.
Yeah, and just so we're clear, like, we're not just buying this property and then just all of a sudden just making money hand over fist and there's no effort or challenges or anything like that. It's absolutely going to be there. The rent collections, the management, the operations, it's all going to work because we have the right people that will just go in and do whatever's needed. But there's a lot of work that comes with this, right? Like, there's a really good chance that these people that live there don't pay their rent online, and we got to go collect rent in person.
They don't pay rent online.
Yeah, so now we got coronavirus and people not wanting to answer their door and trying to collect the rent, but we'll figure it out. I just think it's important to point out, because some people they don't always understand that there's a whole nother side, which is the operations and the management, that's super critical, and finding the right people to be on your team for that's extremely important as well. And we obviously do property management, but that's for single family homes, so this is a totally different deal. And that's another reason why I wanted to bring Abe on, because he's got experience doing that. His wife is fluent in Spanish, and that's pretty much what all these tenants speak. So that's a huge deal. I mean, if just you and I, we might not know what to do. I mean, we'd be doing Google Translate, and so it's just the little things like that you got to think about when buying something like this.
Yeah, it's going to be a project. Day we close and going in there and doing everything, I mean, I don't think we know the exact game plan of what's going to happen day one. We're meeting up this Friday to talk about stuff like that, but like you said, it's not like close and then forget about it, and it does really well. Like,
the money just starts hitting our account.
I mean, this could be a full-time job.
It will be. It will be for a while. And I just wanted to point that out, because the people that, look at real estate and just see these numbers and see the appeal, I think they're missing the story 99% of the time. There's just so much more that goes into it.
I was mistaken when I thought before I closed my first deal, what I thought owning real estate was like. Mm-hmm. And I've learned.
But also, I talk about this all the time, like, we're in a crazy market. Like, there's so much demand in Austin. And at the end of the day, it's a small market. It's really a small market. And so it's just made things really competitive and challenging. And it's owning real estate in Austin is a lot different than owning real estate in San Antonio or Killeen or Temple or Nashville or Virginia. And those have positives and negatives as well, but we're just straight up not really in a cash flow market, And we're adjusting the best way we can. That's why we have all of our businesses, and we do preach on making money on every aspect. And we are so flexible is because that's how you got to be here. And we just keep pushing forward the best way we can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's we do buy cash flowing properties for them.
Yeah, they cash flow. I'm just saying.
However, if something goes wrong, like last month we had, I don't remember if it was the dryer or the dishwasher goes out. Boom, that's $500.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and taxes keep going up. So.
Taxes and.
We're just our goal is to be super flexible and creative and find the right people. So hopefully you guys find this valuable. We want to provide any kind of answers, any kind of resources we can, get enough people around us. We got an office building where we're going to be kind of leasing out shared office space, and we'd love to have more people be around us and hustling. Like, subscribe, comment. We're here to be a resource, and thanks for tuning in.
Yep, y'all have a good rest of your week.
Go get it.